Hello everyone, this is the take and make video for the plastic bottle flower, the adult craft for May. Today we'll be making a flower out of a plastic bottle. We used a pop bottle because the plastic is a little stronger. Some of the water bottle plastic is a little weak. So you can give it a try, but we'll be using a pop bottle. Sometimes it's easier to find a pop bottle with a smaller label. It won't leave so much stickiness behind, but today we're going to just use what we have on hand here. Now what you're going to need for this craft is the bottle with a cap and the label, something that you can weigh down your flower. That could be rocks, it could be dirt, it could be sand. That's one of the types of rocks we have in our make and take kits. Or we have some bigger rocks, so whatever you prefer. You will need a stem. In this case we have a straw. You could also use a stick or anything else that would serve as a stem for your flower. You will need some glue. You will need some scissors. And you will need something to decorate your petals. In this case we're going to be using duct tape. You could also, if you wanted to, use some glue and some fabric, whatever you would like to decorate your petals with. But this is the end result. So the first thing we're going to need to do is remove the label. So like I said, if you have a smaller label, it'll be a little easier. Won't take as much room. I'm trying to get it off as well. It does not matter if you rip it up. You don't want to rip it up into tiny pieces, but if it tears apart some, that's perfectly fine. That will not hurt anything. And as you can see, the smaller the label, the easier it will be. Okay. So usually on a bottle, you'll have maybe about some paper to about here. You won't really have it on the whole part, so it'll be a little easier. If we had time, we could just try to take all of this off right now. But if you have the smaller pop bottle label, it really won't matter. So next, we're going to need to cut the bottle in half. So found about the halfway point. Whoops, and of course it's going to be a little bit difficult. The cap, moving the cap might help a little bit with the air. Okay. And then in the top, we're going to cut slits. Just about 1 inch up to where the very top of the nozzle neck begins. You're supposed to end up with about 8 petals. They certainly don't need to be perfect. So here we go. Now we have our slits, and what we're going to do is bend them up. These are going to be our petals. They're not going to bend all the way up and where you want them to anyway. Just want them to pop up a little. And if you did have a little bit of the label still on the petals, that's fine. They're going to get covered anyway. Okay, so here is the flower part of your bottle. Put the cap back on. So it'll look like this. Now we're going to add some glue to the cap. Okay, and then with your glue and your cap, we're going to add the straw. And to help keep it stable is where the label comes in. You'll want to scrunch it down in there. To help keep your stem in place. Okay, and see, ideally you let it dry for a little bit. It might stay a little bit more stable for you after it dries. You can cut down the paper, the label if you need to, and if you need more you can also just add some scrap paper if you need a little bit more stability. So ideally you'll let that dry for a while as you go on to the next part. And the next part is to anchor down your flower. So whatever you use, rocks, dirt, combination of both, go ahead and add that to the bottom. Whatever you feel will make it stable. Okay. And hopefully, while that's drying, you can grab the duct tape. In your make and take kits, you will have a bottle, a straw, and a container with your material to put at the bottom. And around what will be a frosting, plastic frosting can or a Crystal Light container will be your tape. And at the very top row is your tape for the top, and the bottom row of tape is your tape for the bottom if you have 2 rows of tape. Otherwise, go by the length, because you'll need, of course, one big piece of tape to cover your bottom here. And if you weren't quite able to get all the label off, you can do a little layer if you have enough tape. And any kind of duct tape will be fine, just whatever you find is pretty. So we'll just cover this on the top layer too, since there's a little bit of label still showing. Okay. And then you will add your flour. And for this size duct tape, and most of you will have this size in there, you can see that you can measure it up, and then you can just cut it lengthwise in half, and that'll cover 2 petals. There'll be a few of you that has some thinner tape for the petals where you'll just need to put it right on the petals. But there's also in some of the kits duct tape like this, in which you will just cut down the middle here. Make sure you have sharp scissors, and it'll be a little tough, of course, since it's sticky. These scissors aren't really want to cooperate. When I worked on the other flower that's already done, the scissors cut right through. They don't seem to want to do this time. Let's see if we can at least get it down far enough for one petal. Sometimes you got to improvise a little bit. Here we go. Okay, so we'll put it on one of the ones with paper on it, just so we can cover that up. Put your tape on the petal, Then you can fold it under if you have too much. And then you'll see that's your first decorated petal. Just go around the whole flower, decorate it with your tape, and you'll end up with a flower like this. There are different kinds of pop bottles in the different Take and Make bags, so you'll get some different color caps. But we hope you enjoy, and thank you for participating in this month's Adult Take and Make project, the plastic bottle flower.